2003, we built the house, and I knew right from the start I wasn't going to have something with 15-foot high ceiling foot and as many animals as I had when we started doing this. And if I continued to hunt, I knew I was going to need more than just one little room. So we decided to make the ceilings 10 foot in the basement and just turn the whole basement, other than a laundry room and a bathroom. The rest of it's all for the deer and, well, all the animals. And then it started to get full, and the other room, that was a 2-car garage. So about 6 years ago, we built me a 4-car garage, detached, took the garage doors off of here, closed it in and insulated it, and turned it into another piece for the animals. So I got to soon quit, or I have to build another building. All right, well, I guess we start with the ducks there from Alaska. We were on a deer hunt. We took some time off of the deer hunting and went a little duck hunting. It was actually Clyde and Sandra and me. Then on that wall over there, there's the grouse from Colorado. I was on a deer hunt and went bird hunting for a little while. The ringnecks, pheasants, they actually, I got them in March's game farm, so that wasn't really out in the wild. I mean, we were in the fields, but the skull in the wall there, that's out of the buffalo that I took in South Dakota. The 2 deer hanging there, they're both from Alabama, the whitetail. And as you come around the corner, then there's the buffalo. That there, I was out deer hunting and decided I would go and try to get a buffalo, which I did. And it was on one of the farms, the ranches, where we were, where they shot Dancing with Wolves movie. So he could have been in the movies. I don't know. Then there's a brown bear there from Colorado. It's a black bear, but it's chocolate phase. And above him is an elk that I shot with the bow and arrow. That there, me and my brother Dwayne were in, not Colorado, that was Wyoming. We were archery hunting for him. We heard these 2 bulls fighting, and we tried to call them in. I called one in. Dwayne shot it with the bow. He run off, and we just sat there for a little while. And after a bit, we heard the cracking back in there, and we knew the other one was still around. So Dwayne sat where I was sitting, and he started to call, and that one came in, and I shot him. So then we had our work cut out. We had 2 elk to get out of the woods because we got them both. His was a little bigger than mine. The next elk there, then that one there, I did that on my own. That was a do-it-yourself hunt in Colorado. And me and my wife were out. She got a mule deer, I got a mule deer, and then I went and got the elk by myself. The next one came from Colorado also, same outfitter. He was guiding me on that one though. And that's shot that was actually before the other one. I'm not sure about the years anymore. I used to know all the dates, but I don't remember them all anymore. There's a turkey there that came from Missouri. That's clean on the end. on the floor setting. And then there's the chocolate bear sitting on the floor beside it. I mentioned that. Then when you come up to the turkey, it's in the glass case. That turkey I shot, I was guiding for a fellow in Montana, and I got both my hunters their turkeys. Then I went out and hunted one for myself, and I got that Merriam turkey. That's the first Merriam I had ever killed. Then if we stay on the floor, we come to another chocolate one, a bear. That one came from Colorado also. That one we hunted for days trying to get him, and when he finally came in to us and I shot him, he run up a tree, and I had to shoot him out of the tree a second time. Well, actually, if you've seen the video, the outfitter videoed it, and I have a little story. He puts out books every year of what his hunters done, where they got them at, and he actually put a story in there that the camera went crazy. The bear wasn't in it for a while in the shot, and it sounded like a war, but he wouldn't tell how many shots I shot. But I got him anyhow. The next one's a black. He is a black bear, and I shot him in Montana. That was in 1988. I shot him. I remember that date yet. That was the second black bear I ever got. And then next to him's another cinnamon phase and chocolate face on him. Deb and I went out to Montana one spring, and she didn't get one. She was hunting with the outfitter, and they left me set. And he come walking down the road, and I shot him. The next bear there, everybody always asks and always gives me heck for shooting a baby. But it was the first time I had ever went out of Pennsylvania hunting. I went to New Brunswick, Canada. And when he walked out, it was the first bear I ever seen in the woods while hunting. And he sure looked bigger than that when I shot. When I walked up, I thought he was laying there dead for a week or something. Somebody else shot him. I didn't. But he was the one I shot. Oh. Then we got the goat next. She came from British Columbia. That was quite a hunt, a workout. Then if we go back down there to the first caribou, that one was in 84. Yeah, the little bear was 83. The caribou there was the next hunt. I had met a guy that does hunting videos, and wanted me to go to Quebec. And I went along up with him to Quebec for that caribou. And then after that, he put together a hunt to Alaska, which we'll get to that in a little bit here. But that was my first caribou I ever got in Quebec. Then the next one is a caribou from Alaska. And that was a do-it-yourself hunt that me and 13 other guys, 14 of us went up on a do-it-yourself and got that. Every one of us shot a caribou. And that's probably the one that scores the most for me. Then there is the one from the Yukon. First there's another Alaskan caribou. That there was about 6 of us went on that one. Me and one other fellow, I was in my 50s then, and this fellow was in his 70s and had never flown anywhere in his life. And the outfitter asked me if I'd fly with him on the plane because he had never been on a plane. His name was Ettore Garofoli. He was real Italian, couldn't hardly speak any English. I spent my time with him for a week in a tent, and him and I both got a caribou. I carried his caribou out for him too, because it was a drop camp. They flew you out, dropped you off, and come back in a week and picked you up. And he, after I carried his out, I never seen him take the feet off of that one. This is actually the feet off of that caribou. He went home and made me a lamp because he wanted to hunt moose, and the outfitter wouldn't trust him to send him the money when he got home. He hadn't paid for a moose hunt. I did. I paid to go moose hunting after the caribou, and he wanted to go with me. So I paid for his hunt. He sent me a check after they got home, and because I'd done that, he snuck these caribou feet and my moose feet. He made an ashtray out of the moose foot, one of the moose foot feet, and this here the lamp out of that. And that's the moose that I got on the same trip on the top there over the fireplace. Yeah, so it was quite a hunt, and he was quite a fella. Then the last caribou there, that one with the velvet on, that and I got in the Yukon. Yeah, so there's the 4 caribou, Quebec, 2 in Alaska, and then the Yukon. And that still had the velvet on it, and I asked them to preserve the velvet, and they did. So that was a great hunt too. It was a different experience. We rode horses, moved to camp every 3 days, packed everything up, and moved somewhere else in the Yukon mountains, and set back up and go hunting there for a couple days, and then move again. We had 25 horses on that trip. And I guess that pretty much brings us to this corner. Well, there's the Saskatchewan buck. It normally sits here. I went with Jeff Deimler and Dwayne Deimler to Saskatchewan and shot that. No, Jeff wasn't on that trip. Jeff went up. Well, if we started on the right side over there, that was the first mule deer I ever shot the first trip to Montana. And I shot that one. The story with that one is he went down, and the outfitter was congratulating me, shaking my hand, and he got up and took off running. I shot another shot at him and shot his horn off, one horn off. And the outfitter told us we'll never find that horn. First we had to go find him, had to finish him off. And then we went back and we did find it. So if you look real close, you can see where it's been repaired and put back on. And then there's different mule deer there from all over. I've gotten mule deer in Colorado. The second one from the right there is one I got in Montana, which was pretty nice buck, and I chased him half the day over one ridge, over another one, stripping clothes and taking them off as I was chasing after him, and finally caught up to him and got him. There's a couple smaller ones there. And I guess the one I really want to talk about the most is behind me on this end, the left side of the room. It's soon be 17 years ago, I had a bad farm accident, and they airlifted me to Hershey and put me back together. And I was supposed to be leaving in 2 days. We were going to fill silo, and then in 2 days we were leaving to go to Wyoming. And I didn't get to go. That was 2003. And the next year, 2004, I planned to go again. I wasn't sure whether I'd ever get to hunt again. And after my accident, but thank the Lord, I healed up pretty good. And we give her a try. I had to use a lighter caliber gun because of my shoulder and stuff, but went to Wyoming, me and my brother and two brothers and my wife, and she wouldn't let me out of her sight because after the accident she always was worried that I was going to do something and get in trouble. She was setting with me. Well, I actually thought I was setting with her, wanting to get her one, and this buck come out, and I seen right away he was pretty good, and it was a big open meadow going down into a canyon. And he started on from the left side, went down in, and was going to go to the right side. And he was going down. I was trying to talk her into shooting it, and she kept saying, "No, I want you to shoot it." I said, "No, I want you to shoot it." And it got halfway through, got right in the bottom, and there was no trees in that whole valley, except one cedar tree in the middle at the bottom. And I told her, I said, if somebody don't soon shoot him, and he's too nice a buck to let walk by, I said, he's going to get away. You need to shoot him. She said, I ain't shooting him. I want you to shoot him. So when he walked out from behind that cedar tree, I shot him. And he flipped over backwards, and I didn't know whether I had actually killed him or if he was sneaking straight away from us and I couldn't see him. I had no idea. And after bed, I seen movement at the bottom of the tree, and it was his leg going like that. He was laying right there. And the emotions were so, I mean, oh man, I was all wound up. Because I really didn't think a year before that I'd ever get to go hunting again. And I looked at her and told her, I said, man, I feel like crying. And it's tough to tell about it. She told me if that's what I felt like, I was supposed to go ahead and do it. I sat there and cried like a baby. So he really is a special buck. He's maybe not the widest. He's pretty tall, but he got plenty of points. But he means a lot to me because that was the start of my comeback. And get to go hunting, and I'm still doing it today now, 17 years later. So he's a special one. And there's a couple more than on the far wall there. Mule deer and whitetails. Some of them a couple were killed in Pennsylvania. Some of the mule deer were killed in Wyoming, Colorado. Then we get on the floor there's two bear hides. One of them is from British Columbia. I got with the same time as I got the goat on the same trip. I shot the black bear. The other black bear's from Saskatchewan. Then we come to my prize, the Kodiak brown bear, which was 1985, and George Clucky filmed me on that hunt. Got the kill and everything on the video, so I'm pretty tickled with that. You get to the wall there by my desk, that's got a couple whitetail from here in Pennsylvania. It's got a whitetail, a 10-point from Montana. It's got a 10-point from South Dakota, which was the buck that I got when I went out and got my buffalo also. There's a couple 8 points there, whitetail that came from, two of them came from Kentucky, one of them came from Alabama. And you're going around the wall going towards the door. There's a 7-point there from Texas, and a fish from when I was fishing. I like to do a little fishing too. I went to Alaska one year for a whole week just to hunt, just to fish for salmon in the middle of the summer in July, which that's quite a trip. There's only like 3 or 4 hours in darkness. The rest of the day is all daylight. In the columns in the middle of the room here, I've got several antelope, buck and doe. I had one doe mounted just because I wanted to have an example of antelope doe. And then there's a couple buck there. One came from Montana and two of them came from Wyoming. On the other column here, there's a turkey that I shot here on the farm. It was the first one I shot here in the farm. There's a little whitetail buck that I got years ago. It's just a spike. I wanted to have one of every horn, you know, spike, a 3-point, a 4-point, but I gave up on that idea, that spending all that money on them little ones, but I had got him done. And the other two deer there, they're actually Sitka blacktail from Alaska. I went up hunting the Sitka deer for them. So I've been to Alaska, I guess, 7 times now, counting the fishing trip. So I've been pretty fortunate. Then if we go on the wall between the two windows, all that stuff is my wife's. She shot a couple mule deer buck in Colorado. She shot one in Wyoming. She shot whitetail buck in Texas, and I'm trying to think. She shot one here in Pennsylvania, and her prize is that big elk she got. My brother Brian, before he passed away, was hunting with us. Well, that's the same year where I got this buck after my accident. My brother Dwayne killed a nice elk. Deb killed a nice elk. It's actually bigger than any of my 4. I got 4 elk. There's a little one on the end down there. But I told her when I took it to the taxidermist, I was going to have him cut a couple inches off each point so that she didn't have a better score than me, but I didn't. And she killed a couple wild boar. I killed one, this black one here. I killed it in South Carolina with a knife. She's killed 3 of them. She killed one with a rifle, one with a knife, and one with a spear. And so there are a couple of them are hers. I guess before we go to the other room, I forgot to mention about the turkey hanging on the far wall there. They're different beards from turkeys from over the year. All of them are from Pennsylvania. They're eastern beards. I had one of them had the tail feathers made into a fan, and then it had little shotgun shells on to put beards in each year as you got them. I needed to get another set of that because I got about 15 beards out hanging or laying in my shop that needed to be glued onto something and hung up. So I think we pretty much got everything in this room, so I guess then we go out to the other room, and that's where I have my deer from our farm in Kentucky and our deer from this farm here at home in Pennsylvania. I've got several 8s. I've killed, in 17 hunting seasons being here since we bought the farm, I've killed 10 buck on this farm. And 4 of them I've killed with a bow. As you can see, the horns, I never used the arrow again. Once I got them, I laid them across the horns of the deer. And the 2 turkey in that room, they're eastern turkeys from here on the farm. The one with the double beard is my turkey, and I shot it with the bow. And there's an arrow laying on it. The other turkey is my wife's first Pennsylvania turkey, which she shot here on the farm also. The other buck were all from our farm in Kentucky. We own the place for 4 years now, 4 hunting seasons, I should say, because it's about 5 years now, but we haven't had this season. And I've killed one 9-point, the first 9-point I ever killed in my life, and 3/8 off of it, and found a big buck that we were watching on my camera, the trail cameras. He was coming into my stand, and we went down 2 days before the season opened and found him laying dead partway between me and Dwayne's. So I brought him home and had it put on a plaque. Yeah, I said about her turkey. Oh, and then there's a turkey fan out there with one beard hanging on it. That is Osceola turkey from Florida. Dwayne took me down a couple years ago, and I think it was like 2019. He took me down, and I got my Osceola. So I got the Eastern, the Marion, and the Osceola. I need my Rio Grande yet. Then I'll have the Slam. I've killed lots of Eastern, so. And the second buck over there on the wall that I chased over one ridge and another ridge and another ridge, and finally caught up to him and killed him. And I was standing on the top of one of these, like moon rocks, big high, mucky mud, stick to your shoes, and was looking down in a little valley, and that's the way no, I got them the wrong way. This one was like that. I could see this white when I looked down there. I got the binoculars, so I think they're horns. About 10 feet away, here was another one over there laying like the opposite direction. I walked down and got him. I sure wouldn't have mind finding him when he had them on him yet. But, so I brought them along home. And I got other horns here. I'm a man came from Montana, Colorado, Wyoming, and Alaska. I found a sheep horn one time in the Yukon when I got that caribou, and I had it for quite a few years. And there was a couple guys that came into the Harrisburg to the Eastern Sports and Outdoor Show and stayed at my house, and the one guide wanted them to make knife handles out of it, so I give it to him, so I don't have it no more. But that was a good find up in the middle of nowhere, just in rocks on the side of the Yukon mountain. That was a good deal. For a good many years, I used Bob Swope from Halifax. He's probably done 80% of all my mounts. And then he retired, and there was a few items I had gotten done out where I was at and shot them at, like in Colorado I had the one bear done, and a few animals, but Swope always did my taxidermy work, and then he retired. And then now I use, that's terrible, Lee Dobbins from Newport. He's done them ever since Bob retired.